MSU is preparing a historic $95 million 10-year contract extension for Mel Tucker to remain with the Spartans. They do not want to let this guy go. Jeff, give me your thoughts on this extension.
Yeah, rightfully so. And this obviously comes, they've been trying to get this done along with the LSU rumors of him going to LSU and LSU really looking for their head coach. Tucker went from being the fourth highest paid Big Ten coach, 13th nationally. Now he moves to only behind Nick Saban, and he's the highest paid Big Ten coach in front of now James Franklin, which we talk about how much of a goofball James Franklin is. I'm happy for Mel Tucker, though. This is a big, big win for Michigan State. And similarly to yesterday when we talked about how big of a win it was for Michigan to extend Juwan Howard, like this deal had to get done. And now they got him for, 10 years, long-term deal. And you've seen what he's done in 2 years, beat Michigan twice, 2-0, and now one loss on the season. Deservingly so. And just moving on to if we look at this in a big picture sense, among other head coaches, we can compare this to other coaches in the NBA. I think Greg Popovich is making 11. Mike Tomlin in the NFL is making 8. His contract's amongst the highest paid in general, not just college sports, all sports in general. So happy for Mel Tucker and Michigan State. This is big for them because now you lock up a guy who, leaving Colorado, people are assuming, and we talked about this weeks ago, what are the chances he leaves to LSU? And to be honest, I didn't think they were very high considering LSU is a pressure cooker. What coach would want to go to a university where even if you win a national championship, you have a chance to get relieved like Orgeron did? That's not a desiring situation for any head coach, especially one who just left his first head coaching job at Colorado, and now he has a real program he can build and continue to add to his assistants. His assistant salary pool increased dramatically. This is big for him and what they want to do at Michigan State. So deservingly so. I know Inside the Locker Room talked about it and really broke the news, so credit to them here at Woodward Sports Network. But just in general, this is a big win for Michigan State, and now you have your guy locked down. This is, he's going to be around a while, and this is, you could argue it's bad news for Jim Harbaugh at the same time because this guy's going to be in the Big Ten, and right now he probably, besides, we talk about Ryan Day and how he is the best coach in the Big Ten, but it's close. And Mel Tucker eventually might surpass him, but how he's doing so far, only 2 years into a total rebuild. Most of these guys are transfers and are his own recruits. So credit to him, and I think Michigan State nailed it right on the head.
Michigan, this isn't just about Mel Tucker or locking him up for a long-term commitment. When we talked about the LSU job and did it hold weight, I think any coach acknowledges, oh wow, the LSU job is open. It's a top job in the country. It's really a tier 1 school. And really the argument against it, or at least at the time a few weeks ago when we discussed this, was, all right, Mel Tucker, if you decide to leave, that is your third job in less than 3 years. You clearly aren't a guy that I can build a program around. I didn't think that was going to fit Mel Tucker's narrative, so I dismissed any chance of him going to LSU. But moving forward, Michigan State are putting themselves at the big boy table. Mm-hmm. They really are. Mel Tucker has done, we can all agree, a phenomenal job of turning around a Michigan State program that a few years ago couldn't win 2, 3, 4 games, and now they're sitting pretty at 9-1, started the season 7-0. That's a big ask. That is very telling, if you ask me, at least. They're trying to be a Michigan. They're trying to be an Ohio State. They're trying to be Clemson, Bama, LSU, USC, Oklahoma. They're trying to become a top program in the country. And that's not a knock on Michigan State. There's only a handful of them. And it's very difficult to become one of those upper echelon programs. And you can ask me, well, Adam, how do you consider Michigan a powerhouse brand? But they have had zero success on the field realistically since 1997. Well, their fan base is one of, if not the largest in the country. They are worldwide. They're known worldwide. It's a brand that you can't argue with. And that's where Michigan State is right now. We're never going to be Michigan if we continue to go along about our business in this fashion. And of course, the two big boosters at Michigan State sit down with the board and they make a commitment. We want to take our program to the next level. How do we do that? We put big money on the table for a head coach. We show not only the kids and the future prospects and kids that are going to come into the program years from now. No. We're not just showing them our intent. We're showing other coaches, other programs. Hey, this isn't just going to be the Michigan State that can upset you every other year, every 2, 3, 4 years. This isn't the Michigan State that'll win 2 Big Ten championships over a 12, 14, 15-year period. No. We plan on being the Michigan State that is in the Big Ten title game 3 out of every 6, 7 years. We plan on being relevant every year. We plan on winning it some years. We plan on coming up short other years. But we're going to be in the conversation like Georgia has been, like Alabama has been for such a long time. Because, on the field success, Michigan State have had much more than Michigan. But what are they lacking? That brand impact. And how do you really overcome that? You look at Oregon. Oregon was never some sought-after school, huge program. No, but they made a commitment to facilities, their jerseys. Everybody talked about the Oregon jerseys early on when they first renovated everything. You were like, I just want to go to Oregon and play in their jerseys. They had the best jerseys. And to this day, you could probably argue they have some of the coolest alternates and jerseys in the country. And that's a big factor of how they recruit their players. Now Michigan State is attempting to take that leap. Will they be successful? It's a difficult thing to do. When you're trying to beat Alabama, Michigan, LSU, USC has been an irrelevant program since Pete Carroll left. And they are still a top recruiting station year in and year out. It doesn't matter if Jeff is coaching the team or if Bob over there on that corner of Woodward is. It doesn't matter. That's a program. Miami has been irrelevant since the 90s, late 90s, early 2000s. But it's the U. What's Michigan State's brand? They're going to try and figure it out and build it. And I think that is very, very, very important. Not only for the Big Ten, but for Michigan and Ohio State. I think this is a great thing. You don't want just Penn State and your Iowas, your Wisconsin. No. Michigan State are deserving of becoming this type of program. They've earned it on and off the field. And now it's their turn. I always tell you guys, stop with the little brother nonsense. Here you go. Now you really need to stop. Because, quote unquote, little brother will be a top destination for head coaches well past Mel Tucker. And if he's there for 10 years, don't get me wrong, that is amazing. And that means he's doing a hell of a job. But even if Mel Tucker doesn't work out in year 5, but he's been to multiple college football playoffs, he's won a few Big Tens. Well, the program is set. Let's bring in the guy that can deliver. Michigan State are positioning themselves to become a nationally acclaimed, recognizable program. And I think that more than anything shows their intention moving forward. They're not just going to be okay with having a 9-win season right now. Maybe they finish 9-3, 10-2. Maybe they win out. They go 11-1. Who knows? But the point is, okay, we're happy we're in this position, but we want to be in this position every year or every other year at bare minimum. We want to be an 8, 9, 10-win program for 10, 15 years. We want to win multiple Big Ten titles. We want to win a natty. We want to make the college football playoff multiple times. That's how you become a Tier 1 program, a college, one of those Clemsons, your Bamas, your LSUs, your Georgias. That's how you do it. And who else than a guy with SEC roots, a guy who can recruit just as good as anybody in the country can right now, a guy that dominated the transfer portal this past offseason, and look at it paying off now.
And I wonder
Michigan State are in a great position.
I wonder what this does for Jim Harbaugh, especially like recruiting wise. I mean, you got a guy who took a bunch of transfers and look what he's doing, beat Michigan. It looks like the more ideal situation for anybody, especially you're the second highest paid collegiate head coach in football behind Nick Saban. So there's obviously expectations that go with that, and I think Mel Tucker will live up to them. But there's pressure there, and the next couple of years we'll see, because it was a great second year. He had a very great year this year. Beat Michigan. Now he's 2-0. Like you can go on and on. But it's what they build off of, and I think they can do it. It just depends how hard Mel Tucker. And I think he's perfect for the transfer portal. He's perfect for recruiting. I mean, that's a guy you want to go play for. So in all those aspects, he'll be fine. But it's interesting. Second most highest paid.
Well, Mel
coach
Tucker again
behind Nick Saban.
I don't think the expectations are overwhelming.
But what are expectations?
He came in. He understood it was a rebuild.
Yeah, we all did.
And he has over-delivered in year 2. And again, this isn't a Michigan fan base. We're talking about Michigan State, who have recently won a Big Ten championship, who have made a college football playoff appearance. The results speak for themselves. This isn't just a result-based move. This isn't, we want to be winning only 9, 10, 11 games every... No. That is part of it. But we want to set ourselves up that in 20 years, no matter the outcomes, we are still revered as a top program. Why? Because Michigan haven't won a damn thing of true value since the early 2000s with the Big Ten championship. It's been almost 20 years. They still hold cachet. The maize and blue.
Right.
The big house.
The 10-win seasons.
This is what you're trying to... This is what you're trying to go towards. If you're Michigan State. And we're going to have Brandon Brown on a little later on in the show. We're going to ask him about Jim Harbaugh, Michigan, how the season's going, expectations against Maryland, and then, of course, Ohio State. But what we also are going to ask him is, how does this affect Jim Harbaugh and Michigan moving forward? Does that put pressure on them? And if it does, in what capacity? And if it doesn't, well, then are you Michigan at risk of falling behind Michigan State? I think that's a real interesting take.